Okay, hello YouTube. In this video I'm going to go show you 3 ways that a knight can get trapped in the Alekhines defense. So after e4, knight f6, e5, knight d5, d4, we start one of the main positions of the Alekhines defense, and this position is one of the first ways that black can make a mistake and get one of his knights trapped. He can play the move knight to c6, in which case we're going to trap one of these knights with the move pawn to c4, and if this knight retreats back to b6, we're going to play the move pawn to d5, knight takes e5, c5, and this knight on b6 is almost completely trapped. It can't go to a4, it can't go to d5 without being taken, and of course the c8 and a8 squares are covered. That leaves the c4 square, and after knight to c4 we play queen d4 attacking both knights, and after b5 trying to hold the knight on c4 we simply play pawn to b3, which attacks the knight on c4 and hangs the knight on e5, thus winning a piece. Another way that we can actually lose a knight in the Alekhines defense is after the move pawn to d6, we play the move pawn to c4, knight back to b6, we play e takes d6, c takes d6, knight to c3, g6, b3, bishop g7, bishop e3, castles, rook c1. This is a pretty normal development scheme for white. This is actually considered the main line. And here, if black makes the mistake of just naturally developing this knight to the c6 square, you can play the move d5, and already white has a major advantage. The most natural move, knight to e5, leaves this knight almost trapped. It only has one square to move back to. So after you play the move bishop to e2, you're covering the remaining g4 square, which only leaves the d7 square for the knight. So here, if black were to make the mistake of playing bishop to d7, you would simply trap that knight with the move pawn to f4, and now that knight has nowhere to go, and black would lose a knight. If black plays the much more natural looking bishop to f5, we can actually just play g4, which leaves this bishop with almost nowhere to go except going back to its original square, because on every single other bishop retreat it's either going to be lost or it's going to trap its own knight. If bishop d7, we still play f4, and even after bishop to c8 we would still play f4, kick that knight back to d7, and then continue with a huge kingside attack with the move pawn to h4. The computer gives a +2 advantage here for white. White has a huge advantage and a huge initiative on the king side. So one more way that we can have a trapped knight is after e captures d6, they could play e captures d6, we could play knight to c3, and we could start with a normal development scheme after bishop e7, bishop d3, and then here we're going to have black play c6, h3, and then black is going to kick in the middle with the move pawn to d5. We're going to play the move pawn to c5, they're going to play the move knight to c4, we're going to continue with b3, and they're going to play knight to a5. This knight on the a5 square is trapped. It doesn't have anywhere to go, but white has no way to win that knight. That doesn't matter though, because white is going to be playing with the rest of his pieces. Black will be playing down a knight for the rest of the game. A great example would be something like knight f3, b6, we would just ignore it, castles, bc5, dc5, bishop at c5, it looks like white is down a pawn, rook e1 check, bishop e7, we're going to continue with knight g5, just attacking because we are effectively up material. This knight still cannot move. Queen to d6, queen h5, g6, queen h6, queen f6, we would sacrifice in exchange, we would play queen g7, queen f8, queen e5, bishop e6, takes, bishop g5, king f7, rook e1, king g8, queen e6, queen f7, we would exchange, play rook e7, king f8, and in this amazing position after the move knight a4, black cannot move a single piece. None of his pieces can move. The knight can't move back to b7 because we would take it, this knight can't move to d7 or a6 because we would take it, the rook on a8 can't move. Black would be left just shuffling his rook back and forth, and he would just get mated in a couple of moves. For example, rook g8, knight c5, rook h8, knight e6, king g8, rook g7 would be mate. And that is how you trap a knight in 3 different ways in the Alekhines defense. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you learned something new about chess. If you like videos like this, please hit that like button, hit subscribe, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching.